Granta Selector is an incredibly powerful material selection tool as part of the Ansys suite. In addition to an extensive catalog of materials and material properties, Granta Selector also contains auxiliary tools such as an engineering solver to quickly identify mechanical constraints, the Eco Audit tool to comprehensively understand the environmental impact of a product, and a materials synthesizer tool to design battery modules, composites, as well as cellular and multi-layered structures. To demonstrate the Cost Estimator's capability, let's work through an example to determine whether steel parts or plastic parts will be more cost-effective at different batch sizes. First, let's open Granta Selector from the Windows Start menu, click Continue, and pick the Metals Plus database. Then, click on the Synthesizer tool and under Cost, pick the Cost Estimator. For our first example, let's choose unfilled peak plastic as our material, put in the scrap value as 5%, the weight as 20 grams, and part length as 0.4 meters. For the batch size, we can put in a range of 1,000 to 100,000 with 15 data points in that range. Then, set the primary shaping process for the part to injection molding for thermoplastics, and leave the other sections as default for this demonstration. Finally, name the record appropriately and create the 15 data points. To add in another estimate, we can click Previous and edit the previous information. Now, let's change the material to a low alloy steel and update the scrap value cost and part mass to reflect this change. Then, change the primary process to rolling and add in a secondary process of press forming. Name this new record set appropriately and create 15 more estimates. We can then note that in the Browse tab, a new subfolder has been added labeled My Records. If you expand this folder, you will be able to see that the cost estimates have been added under two separate folders, one for the peak plastic and one for steel. To make a visual distinction between these two cost estimates, we can right-click on the peak plastic and change the record color to blue. We can leave the steel's record color as default. Now, we are ready to evaluate the two choices using a chart. First, click on the Chart Select tab, choose All Materials in Material Universe as the subselection, and click on Chart/Index. For the y-axis, pick Part Cost Estimator as the property, and Part Cost as the attribute. Then, for the x-axis, using the same category, pick Batch Size and create the chart. Here, we can see that the peak parts are in blue and steel parts in yellow, with different costs per piece depending on the batch size of the product. In the case of our example, for batch sizes under 10,000, peak plastic is more economical, whereas above that amount, steel is a better choice.